All right, hello everyone. My name is Seraphi, and I'm happy to meet you all. And today we are talking to Goldmine, the Galaxy Eyes Guru, about all the new stuff that's coming to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Gold, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited for what we're gonna have for the future.
Fantastic. Well, we'll get there, but first we gotta get hyped. So let's watch something.
宇宙を貫く雄たけびよ、遥かなる時を遡り、銀河の源よりよみがえれ。権限せよ。そして我を勝利へと導け。ナンバーズ107。ギャラクシーアイズタキオンドラゴン。
Bro, you talked during the movie? You better not let Arcady hear you do that. Alright, what'd you say? I didn't hear you.
But basically, say I really like the echo that they put in the voice line before.
Yeah, the echo sounds amazing. Yeah, no. So it's literally like exactly like it was in the anime, but just it's got that echo, which makes it sound like they did that with Trey too. Like Trey's voice line, "Reveal yourself," sounds 10 times better because it has the echo.
True.
Okay, so what do you think about the animation?
It looks fantastic. It fits all the criteria. They show him emerging from his catalyst, and then they show the transformation, and then that eye glow. It's just so good.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember. So I know that the numbers other than the number over 100s, like they show the number itself, but do they do that for the other number over 100s? Because I don't think it did that there, right? It just showed up on Tachyon's head, but I don't think that they like showed the number 107, did they?
I don't know. I'll have to recheck them.
Yeah. I can't remember if number 106 does that. Anyway, it looks great. Mizar, like, I really like the cut-in animation for Mizar because it really highlights how he has two different colored eyes. It's kind of hard to see on the rest of his models. So yeah, that looks great. His voice sounds great in Japanese. It sounds terrible in English. I get what they're trying to do in English. They're trying to make him like sound like a knight. And I feel like that should have been what they did for Dumont. But I don't know. His voice in Japanese sounds a lot better. He sounds a lot better when he's excited as opposed to noble. Okay. All right. So we got new cards, and our primary area of interest for tonight is just the Galaxy Eyes stuff. If you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts on the other stuff, the other cards, I have already posted that on my YouTube channel, and you guys can watch that. We are just talking about Mizar's drops, Mizar's skills, Kite's new skill, and then the cards from the box and from the level up rewards that are directly related to Galaxy Eyes and Tachyon. Alright. Gold, have you reviewed the box?
I've reviewed the box.
Okay. You might want to pull the box up. So, I mean, I've got it on my screen and I'm streaming to you, but you might want to like have it up yourself so that you can kind of reference it. And just let me know which cards are like standing out to you as cards that you're going to play in this box.
Okay. The first immediate two are both Photon Blast Dragon and Galaxy Soldier.
Hold on. Sorry. I sorry to cut you off, but we have comments. You might want to join the stream so that you can read people's comments, because otherwise I'll have to read them to you.
Konami can play Tachyon Dragon with the skill, but would it be worth it?
So that's the big question, right? Because you'd have to. So Magi, you'd have to put another level 8 in your extra deck, right? Like, it's not just that, because there's not any level 8 chronomalies that you could mill from the deck. So you have to actually, like, because the skill makes you mill a card. So it makes more sense for the other anomaly cards because like you benefit from having them in the graveyard. I guess you could put. Okay, hold on. Imagine you might have something here because if you put Chaos number 107 in the graveyard to summon number 107, then when you summon Atlantis, you can equip Chaos number 107 from the graveyard, and it's going to have like 1,000,000 attack points.
Fair.
That's interesting. All right. I'm sorry. Comments cut you off. Go ahead, sir. You were saying something about which cards you want to run from the box.
Okay, the first two that immediately Galaxy Soldier and Photon Blast Dragon. But before I get to Galaxy Soldier, I want to talk about Photon Blast Dragon. This is a card that we've been waiting for a pretty long while. Anybody who played in the TCG or Master Duel knows what this card does. But I'm going to explain for the people who don't know. If this card is Exceed Summon, you can special summon one Photon monster from your hand. You have Vanisher. Like, if you have Vanisher, you can use this. You can Exceed Summon this with Vanisher, and then you'll have the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon in your hand for this special summon. And also, while this Exceed Summon monster is on the field, your opponent cannot target monsters you control with 2,000 or more attack with card effect, nor can they be destroyed. Now, this may seem bad. This may not seem good at first for Starliege Photon Dragon, but if you can manage to get his attack over 2K, not only is your board invincible, but your opponent cannot target any of the cards.
Ah, man. If we could play the new Shining City Knights rush spell, that would be perfect.
There is a situation to where this card can get over 2K. If you're fighting Black Wings, they'll push it over 2K. It's niche, but it'll push it over 2K.
I mean, you could just equip Orbital to it.
True.
Okay. Sorry to cut Gold off, but for my audience's sake, there is a reasonable way for Galaxy Eyes to get this card over 2K, and that is to equip Photon Orbital from hand to it. Please continue.
I won't go into future cards because I'm just going to focus on the card right now, so I won't talk about an extra card that can get this card over 2K. So right now we'll just move on to Galaxy Soldier.
Well, did you talk about the quick effect? I don't think you did.
Oh, let me talk about the quick effect. You can detach one material from this card, and then you can target during your opponent's turn. Once per turn during your opponent's turn, you can detach one material from this card, and then target one of your Galaxy Eye Photon Dragons that are banished or in your graveyard to special summon. So
now, this is extremely, if you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead.
This is extremely important because of the skill. So the skill will often result in you having Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon in your graveyard. So if for whatever reason you aren't able to use the skill to get Galaxy Knight out, let's say your Galaxy Knight is negated, right? Then you still have the level 4 Galaxy Brave on your field. You can then special summon another level 4 Photon monster, Exceeds into Blast Dragon, and bring the Galaxy Eyes that you discarded back from your graveyard. So that's an option. This allows you to make some plays even through disruption, this is the key, right? The thing that Galaxy has really struggled with this whole time, even when they had Exceeds Galaxy, was playing through disruption.
Correct. This makes it so much easier to play through disruption because this is the only card that can be targeted if your opponent tries to disrupt one of your cards, unless they're using something like Ice Dragon Prison that does not really care about targeting or destruction.
Sure, but we're all gonna suffer through Ice Dragon's Prison. That's just how it is. So ignoring Ice Dragon's Prison, we got protection from Compulse, we got protection from Crackdown, we got protection from Book of Moon. That's not nothing. That's a lot. So yeah, in my opinion, I think you were right to lead with this card. This is probably one of the better cards in the box. It's just a rare, and most importantly, it's generic. It only requires 2 level 4s. So you can make this if you're playing Mizar and you're playing dark monsters. You can play, this with dark monsters. You can make it with light monsters. It doesn't have to be photons. It doesn't have to be dragons. Whatever you want to do. You can put this in Utopia and make it with ZS Armed Sage or whatever. You can make it in Sharks. You do you, man. But the important thing is it's going to help you protect all your monsters that have a lot of attack points. You can play this in any deck that cares about having a lot of attack points. It doesn't have to be Galaxy Eyes. Just ignore the second effect and the first effect, and just ignore the first effect and the third effect. The second effect is gold, and it's good for every rank 4 deck. All right.
Moving on, we're going on to Galaxy Soldier.
Okay.
You can send one under light monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon this card in defense position. When, not if. This is important because this card can miss timing if you're not careful. When this card is special summoned, you can add one Galaxy monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Galaxy Soldier once per turn.
All right, hold on. Okay. So this card will never miss timing with its own effect. I'll say that.
It's more so if you try to discard something and you activate for its effect.
What? Oh, you Seyfert?
Like say, let's say you discard let's just say if the card you discard has an effect and you activate that card before you activate Galaxy Soldier, you won't be able to use the effect of Galaxy Soldier.
Like, Gold, with all due respect, if you are discarding for cost, then Galaxy Soldier's effect is going to be a Chain Link 1.
Oh yeah, it's on. I made it.
So it definitely misses timing if you summon it with another card, like Call of the Haunted, and you do that as a Chain Link 2. But with its own effect, you're never going to miss timing, because it's a spell speed 1 effect. It's always going to be activated as Chain Link 1. Please continue.
Alright. Now, most people already know this use for in Cyber Dragons, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It's level 5 and can discard a Cyber Dragon, like, for example, Nasher.
Yep. Yeah, and it's a light machine as well, which means that you can also play this in Chronomalies. You wouldn't be able to play it in the Chronomaly, like, Gateway to Another Dimension deck, but this could potentially enable you to play Chronomalies without that skill, because it's a level 5. You special summon it alongside your Moai, and that's an easy V mana.
Now, something I think is personally slept on for is its use in Galaxy Eyes. Most people see it like, how are you going to use this in Galaxy Eyes? Not only is it a level 5, but we don't really use level 5s outside of, like, for example, Cyber Dragon and Fave, if we had that. But we don't have that. My point is, this card can search any Galaxy monster from your deck to your hand. So this is useful, for example, search a Galaxy Knight for the new skill.
Okay. Yeah, Galaxy Knight is a great card to add to this. Galaxy Soldier will already be on the field, so you can discard Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, for example, draw Galaxy Knight, then normal summon Galaxy Knight because Galaxy Soldier is already on the field, bring back the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, and then you have your rank 8. That's definitely an option. You could also, if you wanted to get some better turn 1 plays, you can Galaxy Soldier, draw another Galaxy Soldier, and then Galaxy Soldier can search itself, and its special summon effect is not once per turn, only its search effect. So Gold kind of alluded to this when he said that, like, a lot of people use this in Cyber Dragons and they use it to make Infinity. This is an easy 1 card, because you have to discard 2 cards from your hand, but still, it's an easy 1 card rank 5. And in Galaxy Eyes, with the new skill, where you're not restricted on summoning from the extra deck, you can special summon Chronomaly V Mana with this card, and that will allow you to easily get a negate on turn 1 if we don't get Photon Lord. Which, it looks like I'm surprised. Like, we did get a new rank 8, which we're going to talk about, but I was expecting there to be, like, a new Kite rank 8, and we didn't get one.
Yeah, I was surprised too. I was expecting Photon Lord to come out by now, but it's fine. So
Kevin Productions in the chat.
Yo, what's up?
Yo, Kevin, get in the recording room. You want to talk about Galaxy Soldier? You're welcome.
But yeah, at least we got another rank 8.
Yeah, and we'll get there. All right. Okay, so the big question about Galaxy Soldier that a lot of people are going, The skill does let us add 2 cards to our hand, and we don't have to discard to use the effect. Bro, I would, but I have a load of background noise. Okay, do you just post your ideas about Galaxy Soldier in the chat then, and we'll read them. The skill does add 2 cards to your hand, and you don't have to discard. It's an option. So you can use basically the cards that you draw as fodder for Galaxy Soldier, which kind of makes up for the fact that you have to go -2 to summon it. So that could be a genuine like option. Like turn 1 you make V mana, and turn 2 you just make a rank 8 and kill people. What do you think?
That's actually a pretty good game plan.
Okay, because you've been looking for this whole time. I haven't had Gold on my channel in a minute, guys, and I'm sorry about that. It's not that Gold's been particularly busy, it's that I've been too busy. I've been making videos every day, haven't had a whole lot of time to record a podcast. I'm very grateful that Gold was willing to meet with me today. But Gold's been searching for a good turn 1 this whole time. He's never stopped playing Galaxy Eyes. He's always on that grind, and it's possible that V-Mana is going to give him that turn 1 that he's been searching for since Xyz Galaxy got nerfed.
That might be.
All right. Hold on. Crap, I lost the box. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about this rank 8 because we'll forget it otherwise. So we got a new rank 8 coming, Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand. This is not a Galaxy card, so I'll go ahead and read this one instead of you.
Oh, go ahead.
Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand. This is a rank 8. We don't know if it's going to be limit 1 or not, but it is going to be a bundle card. It's a light level rank 8 warrior monster. It requires 2 level 8s, and once per turn during either player's turn, you can attach 1 Xyz material from this card. Target 1 face-up monster on the field. This turn, its effects are negated, but it is unaffected by other card effects. That is one of the most interesting effects I've ever seen. So it's literally a double-edged sword. You can protect your own cards from card effects, but if you do, they're negated. You could also negate your opponent's monsters, but if you do, you can't use any other cards on them. Or you could, there's like going to be like this one like really crazy scenario where your opponent is like, they have a monster that has a really good effect that hasn't activated yet, and they're targeting it with another card of theirs. Like, oh, what's a good example of that? Like, the Salamandra, the Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. They normal summon Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. They don't have an equip card on it yet, and then they activate Roland from hand, and you're just like, okay, well, in response to that, I'm going to negate its effects, and then it's also unaffected by card effects, so Roland just goes to the graveyard. Like, that could be something. I don't know. This card's very similar to the Anti-Luminescent Knight that we got like a couple weeks ago. In that it's not immediately obvious how good the card is, but I feel like as soon as I start playing with this card, it's going to be one of my favorite cards, you know?
Oh, for sure. I'm definitely going to play a rank 8. I cannot complain. A light rank 8 at that, too. I cannot complain.
Mm-hmm. The problem is, I think one of Mizar's skills, like, it specifically locks you into rank 8 dragons. Hold on. Where are the skills? The skills are down here. Let's see. All right. Photon Dragon Advent. You cannot special summon any monsters except Galaxy monsters or Photon monsters with levels. So you can't summon other Xyz monsters. I hope this gets updated to say, like, except from the extra deck. Like they have been doing. Because that's what I want. It would be weird if we couldn't summon Felgrand with either Mizar or Kite. That'd be weird. So I guess we can't make Photon Blast Dragon then either. Because it's not a Galaxy card.
It's a Photon card.
Yeah, but it says Photons with levels. You cannot special summon any monsters except Galaxy monsters or Photon monsters with levels.
Yo, what?
Let's see. Read it.
This might be a mistranslation, because why would they restrict you from Xyz summoning?
I don't know. They're just like, oh, you want to play Photon Blast Dragon? No, that's for the Photon. That's for the Galaxy Photon skill. I don't know. Okay. All right. Moving on. We got, I think, 3 other SRs that you're going to talk about. So go right ahead.
3 other SR. Oh. All right. I want to talk about training. I'm in a weird position with training right now because, let's assume the skill does allow us to use Exceeds. I'm kind of in a weird position with it right now.
Mm-hmm.
The first problem I
have
is
hold on. So before you keep talking, I think you're misunderstanding. It's worded weirdly. So let me clarify. The leak, if we assume the leak is correct, says Galaxy monsters and then Photon monsters with a level. So you are still allowed to summon Galaxy Exceeds monsters, just not Photon Exceeds monsters.
Stupid, bro.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense, but I still think it's stupid. Why would they restrict one of the cards that he would use?
I agree. I absolutely agree. I'm just telling you what the card says. Or sorry, what the leak says. Go ahead with your discussion about trading. I'm sure everyone's excited for this one.
Okay. I think everyone knows Galaxy Eyes has level 8. That is no surprise. But then, here's my free problem with it. The cost can hurt your level 8. Like if you have to discard Galaxy Knight or one of your copies of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, and then having to use the other, that can really hurt you.
All right, hold on. Before you keep going, I want people to understand because you're skipping a few things. So for the people who are not that familiar with the archetype, in the game currently, we have 4 level 8s that Galaxy Eyes uses. Photon Caesar, Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, Galaxy Knight, and Galaxy Brave. So that is 4 potential level 8s for a total of, if you wanted to go crazy, 12 cards you could run with Trade-In. Go ahead, Gold.
Now that sounds good at first, but it can really hurt you if you have to discard like a Galaxy Knight or one of your copies of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, and then having to use that for the skill to draw your other warrior type Galaxy Eyes monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Not Galaxy Eyes. For my second point, drawing 2 might not be worth taking up valuable staple space. But you might say, oh, well, it makes the deck more consistent. But if you push beyond 20 cards, it can become hard to consistently draw the card you need to get started in the first place. And then my third point, I think the deck is already fairly consistent without it. Like, yeah, there's going to be dead hands, but that's the cost that comes with running such high-level monsters already.
Okay. Well, here's a question. Wow. Kevin Productions, thank you very much for gifting Maggie a tier 1 sub. I appreciate it. All right. So I agree with what you're saying, right? But here's a question from potential audience, right? What about this card in Galaxy Photon? Right? You play Photon Vanisher, you draw your Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. You might not necessarily have an immediate use for it, and you're playing Trade-In, you could potentially use this to draw back row.
That might be useful. I'll have to test it. I'll have to test it in Galaxy Photon. But for this new skill, I don't think we're going to be using it.
Mm-hmm. Especially since you can search Hyper Galaxy. Like, I'm not necessarily certain that the card that you draw off... Like, I feel like... Since you can search Hyper Galaxy, which is going to give you the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon on your field during your opponent's turn, I feel like... it might not be worth it to even make Galaxion anymore. You special summon Vanisher, you go into, maybe Starliege Photon, or maybe you go into Soul Flare, and then you can use Trade-In to just discard this Galaxy Eyes, draw 2, and then you just special summon another Galaxy Eyes during your opponent's turn. Like what do you think?
See.
You getting a sub means that you can use more emotes, Maggie. If you take a look at, you now have way more emotes. You have 10 new emotes, actually.
Speaking of Hyper Galaxy, let's get into that.
Okay, hold on. But before we do that, Kevin dropped his thoughts about Galaxy Soldier. in the in DMs, so I'm going to read this.
Okay, okay.
So for those of you who aren't aware, Kevin is the Cyber Dragon Guru. So let's pull up Galaxy Soldier again real quick. Okay. Galaxy now has access to rank 5 plays, which means for turn 1 they now have V-Mana and Pleiades. Ooh, that's true. I didn't even think about that. You can also make Pleiades now pretty easily. So that's really good. Unfortunately, Konami nerfed it. Sorry, go ahead.
I was considering that. Maybe if Divine Dragon Felgrand doesn't get a limit 1, but if it does, I'll have to decide between Pleiades and that.
That's true. We'll have to figure it out. Unfortunately, Konami nerfed their best tier 1 monster. I assume he's talking about Photon Lord and haven't given them a replacement. At absolute worst, it's a body on the board with grave setup while searching any Galaxy monsters. Galaxy players are eating good with this card. Now, Cyber Dragons. This card has been a staple for Sidra since Nova released in the first Cyber Dragon structure back in 2014. Without Hurts, the combo potential is of course lessened, but we can go into rank 5 plays without needing to use our skill for level modulation. I'm sure we'll get the support this year, as Jizukiru may be teasing that, but for now this will have to do. Sadly, Galaxy Soldier does nothing to fix the issues we currently face, such as defensive power or control ability, but we're slowly getting there. Hashtag release Sidra cowards. Alright, thank you, Kevin, for both the sub and for your thoughts. Very valuable. Alright. Okay, let's go back. You said Hyper Galaxy. Yes, sir. Let me get that pulled up for you.
Let me head back to the page. Alright, let's get back. Hyper Galaxy. Everyone knows this card has been leaked a long while back. Well, it never got officially released until now. I feel like it's good to talk about this. Tribute one monster with 2,000 or more attack, except Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Then you can target one monster your opponent controls with the same amount of, with the same range of attack. You can tribute it, and if you do, you special summon one Galaxy Eyes Photon monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. You can only activate this card once per turn.
All right, I'm going to talk about the mechanics of the card real quick because they're important, and then I'll let you talk about the potential. So, Hyper Galaxy is a very good card. Important to note that unlike most effects that tribute, Hyper Galaxy targets first. So this is not like a Kaiju. Kaijus just tribute the opponent's monster, and there's nothing they can do about it. Hyper Galaxy targets the monster as part of a chain. So the opponent could, for example, let's say they have, you're trying to target their Berserker of the Tenyi, and they flip up, or they play the Tenyi spell that lets them tribute, Heavenly Dragon Circle. They play Heavenly Dragon Circle, they tribute Tenyi in response. Okay. Well, now, they were the one who tributed Tenyi, not you. So your monster is already gone. Your monster was gone at the start of the chain. If they remove their monster in response to Hyper Galaxy being activated, you do not get Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon.
That's what makes this card kind of risky.
All right.
I feel like it's one of those cards that you rather have an answer to. You rather have an answer to the monster they're facing first. And if you don't, you play this card second, just in case, because it's searchability.
Yeah, I feel like this is a card that you hold until they go into the battle phase, or you can respond to them trying to remove one of your monsters with it. Like they play an effect like Malevolent Sin, and your monster is going to be gone anyway, and you just say, okay, well, I'll Hyper Galaxy then, because then they've used resources.
Exactly. It's one of those cards that you use in response to, oh, I don't really got much other option. I'm just going to practice anyway.
But it's a good card.
Oh, for sure. The tribute effect is not to be underestimated.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a question of whether or not you can target the monster.
Yep. So you can't use this on. I assume Kevin is leaving. So later. I hope you have a good day, Kevin. Let's see. All right. So when when you tribute a monster, it is not being destroyed. So that means that it gets around destruction protection. You can use this on Dingirsu, and Dingirsu can't protect itself. It is a question of whether you can target. So Decode Talker can negate this. Plenty of other monsters can't be targeted. But if you are smart and you are aware of matchups, you know the breakpoints to try and get around something like this. It's a spell card, so it works on cards like Clearwing Sacred Dragon. Yeah, I would compare Hyper Galaxy to Xyz Import, because it's a form of removal that's very difficult for the opponent to play around. It is targeted, and it does require interaction with one of your monsters, but it also gives you an advantage as well. And Xyz Import is a surprisingly good card. I love playing it in Phantom Knights. So I think this card is going to be very good in the Galaxy Photon deck as a one-of. As far as whether the Photon Advent deck will play it, I'm not sure yet. Does Galaxy Soldier search Galaxy cards or Galaxy monsters?
Galaxy Monsters. Galaxy Wizard searches.
Yeah, but Galaxy Wizard takes your normal.
True.
Okay. I mean, Galaxy Soldier is the perfect target for Hyper Galaxy, so I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, moving forward. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about it?
No, I think that's all for the Galaxy cards themselves. The only other cards I would really talk about is the card from Mizar themselves, the Dragon support.
Gold. Is that all the Galaxy support in the box?
There's other cards, but no, I don't really want to talk about Eternal Bond or Photon Change. Those cards are not good.
All right. Well, I'll just pull it up and I'll let you take a look.
Didn't we already talk about that card?
No. We watched a video on it.
Oh. All right.
You started with the super rares.
Okay. Once per battle phase, at the start of your battle phase, you can attach one material from this card. All other face-up cards currently on the field has their effects negated, and also their attack become their original attack and defense. And if you do any of these during the battle phase, each time an opponent's card effects resolve, this card gains 1,000 attack points until the end of the battle phase. And also, it can make a second attack during this battle phase.
All right.
Well,
so the big question for everyone is, in Master Duel and in the TCG, is Tachyon Dragon a card that you guys even put in the extra deck?
It has very niche uses. Well, I forgot the deck's name, but it's basically a deck similar to Yubel, where they have 0 attack, but they have effects that protect themselves. You can use this card to negate the effect. Yeah, Makonko. Yeah, Makonko. You can basically use this card to negate their effects, and when they try to activate something, you can not only detach Afterglow Dragon. Well, this is going to Master Duel / TCG territory, but basically you can detach Afterglow Dragon, and not only will that double the attack, they'll make Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon 8K.
What? Hold on. But okay, hold on. So it's the start of your battle phase. I thought the Afterglow raised the attack points when it was detached.
It is when it's detached.
So then wouldn't it just become 6,000? Is it doubled until the end of the turn? No, it just says double the attack of all number of monsters you control. But whatever. I mean, you're the one who plays the card. I'm sure that you're right. Okay. All right, cool. So what do you think about this card in an 8-card extra?
If in a meta where you're facing hand traps or like a continuous trap, maybe this could be useful. But I feel like this alone, no. Like like, of course, you would run it in Tachyon, but for just Galaxy Eyes, it's in a very weird position.
Okay. All right. Well then the other question is, and this is like the big one, right? Should you play Galaxy Eyes with Mizar instead of with Kite so that you can access the Baryon Battle Morph number over 100 skill and get Chaos number 107? Because Chaos number 107, I'll read this one. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card. Until the end of the turn, negate the effects of all other face-up cards currently on the field. So it's a controllable Photon Howling. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects on the field for the whole turn. So all their face-down traps, all their monster effects, all their field spell effects, the only thing they can do is play hand traps and like cards from the graveyard. Their board is completely locked down. It's really cool in the anime, by the way. In the anime, Mizar says that you can't activate cards without my permission, which is just, that's fantastic. It's very flavorful. But obviously, it's not the case in this situation. It does have a second effect, but that's not really an important effect. So the ability to, with 4,500 attack points, negate all other face-up cards, and then prevent your opponent from activating any of their back row. They can't activate in response to this activation. It's not going to stop the it's not like Satellite Cannon Falcon. But if they have a card that specifically has to be activated during the battle phase, or that has to be activated in response to an attack, you can proactively stop that card from being activated. Now, I understand that Galaxy Eyes does have Cipher Blades. They can pop 1 face-down card already, but not 3, right? So what are your thoughts on playing... Because we have Spiral now, we have Nebula... So what are your thoughts on like ditching Galaxy Eyes skills entirely and just going into Galaxy Eyes, play like normal Galaxy Eyes with no skill, and then randomly, if you need to, bust out Neo Galaxy Eyes with Mizar's Baryon Battle Morph?
That would depend on Tachyon Transmigration.
I feel that's a good point.
Because we need that protection. Protection is the absolute key here. Say what you're gonna say again. I'm trying to hear it again.
No. That was I said. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Go ahead. Keep going.
But the question is, how consistently will we be able to get the rank up match to actually summon this card? Because like, not only do we need protection, we gotta be able to consistently get out the rank up magic.
Gold, do you not know what the skill? Okay, skill's already in the game, bro. Hold on,
bro.
Baryon Battle Morph number over 100. Every Baryon has this skill. On turn 2 and onwards, if there is exactly 1 Xyz monster on your field that has a number between 101 and 107, my true form Baryon Battle Morph. Transform from Mizar into Baryon Mizar. After transforming to the true form, you can use each of the following effects once. Place 1 Rank Up Magic Baryon's Force face down on your field from outside your deck. While Rank Up Magic Baryon's Force that is placed on the field by this skill is on the field, you can only normal or special summon monsters that have the same type and attribute as one of the monsters on your field. So, basically, that is there to make sure that you can only Xyz, like you can only rank up magic into the next form, as opposed to like, because it's specifically because Chaos number 106 doesn't say that it needs Chaos number, or like number 106 to use its effect. So there's so many, they want to make sure that we don't just spam Chaos number 106 with this skill. So you have to go from one to another. So if we have 107, we activate the skill, we immediately set Rank Up Magic Baryon's Force face down on the field from outside our deck, and then we can activate the effect and just rank it up. We don't have to run it. We don't have to do anything. And then Mizar has another skill himself, which sadly, like that skill prevents us from playing Galaxy Eyes. But that one lets you, you can return a face-up monster on your field to the hand to either add Tachyon Transmigration to your hand or Rank Up Magic Baryon's Force from outside your deck to your hand. So, Mizar has 2 different Rank Up Magic Baryon's Force skills.
Okay.
So, like I said, this is, if you use the Baryon Battle Morph skill, right, you can just play pure Galaxy Eyes just like you're doing right now. You know, rank 8 spam, you have the full armor Photon Dragon, you have the Cipher Blade, but then you also have Tachyon and Chaos Tachyon, and you're just like, okay, well, if I need to, I can activate the skill and just make Chaos Tachyon 4,500, negate everything. My opponent has no back row, attack directly. Like, so what do you think? Would that be something that... okay, basically I'm asking if Nebula Dragon, Galactic Spiral Dragon, and the other cards that we've gotten from previous boxes are enough to where you could play Galaxy Eyes without a skill to assist you.
We probably could. The problem is, like I said earlier, is protection.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be able to protect yourself. But I think as long as you can do that, I think it can work.
Well, I mean, if you just drew the Transmigration and you have number 107 out, then you can just activate Transmigration for man.
Oh, well, yeah. That's what I'm basically saying.
Mm. Yeah, if we get... That's the big question. The big question is, how many copies of Transmigration are we going to get? Is it going to be 1 or is it going to be 3? And, man... Well, I guess it could even be 2, right? Because, like, if it's the... if they're planning on giving us the third one as the level 45, like they're doing with Galaxy Brave. I don't know.
Fair.
Man, that just creates all. I think 2 is like a really good sweet spot.
I think fair.
We'll have to see. Okay. All right. Now that we have gone back to the ace card of the box that everyone was excited to hear about, that we watched an animation for and Gold forgot, we move on to Starliege Seyfert as he requested.
You can talk about this card. I talked about enough about my own thoughts on the Galaxy cards, so I'll let you have it.
All right. Starliege Seyfert. This is a card that's used in Dragon Link. It's a light dragon monster, and you can send any number of dragon monsters from your hand and or face upon the field to the graveyard. Add 1 dragon monster from your deck to your hand whose levels equal the total original levels of those monsters sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card from your hand, from your graveyard, target 1 light level 8 or dark level 8 dragon monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. So what Seyfert does, you normal summon it, you send itself and a level 4 from your hand to the graveyard. That lets you draw any level 8, and you'll usually get Nebula Dragon. And then you can Nebula Dragon with Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon and immediately go into a rank 8, and then you also have Seyfert in your graveyard. You can banish it to grab one of your materials and put it back in your hand. So like you detach Nebula Dragon to pay a cost for one of your Xyz monsters, Seyfert puts Nebula Dragon back in your hand, the next turn you can do it all over again. It's fantastic. This card is a definite 3-of for Mizar's deck, and Galaxy Eyes is a little bit harder to tell. I mean, it's the question of whether you're going to try and play Galaxy Eyes with a skill or without it, right? Because if you're playing it with a skill like Photon Advent, you don't really need to use Nebula Dragon. And this is not like this card sending a card from its using your normal summon and then discarding a card from your hand just to draw Galaxy Eyes is not worth it because you have Vanisher. So Seyfert is a card that you would play in Galaxy Eyes if you didn't have a skill. So what I'm probably going to build the Baryon Battlemorph number over 100 Galaxy Eyes deck when this comes out, because I like the Baryon Battlemorph skill. I think it's really, really strong, and it gives you a lot of flexibility. And the more Baryons we get, the more flexible the skill is, because you can literally put all of them in your extra deck and just choose the one that you want to make on a dime. I play Baryon Battlemorph in Suships, and I play both number 105 and number 106 in that deck, and I make both of them, and it's really, really good. So Neo Galaxy Eyes, Tachyon Dragon, like, the upgrade is insane. Getting 1,500 extra attack points for a spell card is crazy. So I definitely want to make that deck work, and Seyfert is the key to that. And this card will also be, like, if you want to play the Mizar skills, like the one that, like, Tachyon Domination, this card will be key to that. I don't know what the other card you would send is, though. Like, obviously it's just going to be whatever level 4 dragon you have in your hand, but I don't think there are any other level 4s that have, like, a good grave effect. Vor Essence can change itself from light to dark in the graveyard. That doesn't help you. I mean, I guess if you want to play, like, Levianeer. Okay, you know what? Fair. There's nothing that stops you from... No, wait, no. The skill does stop you from playing Levianeer. The skill is so bad. You can only play dark monsters that are level 8 with 2,500 attack or 2,000 attack. I hate this. I hate that skill so much. Not letting me play Levianeer in a light and dark dragon deck. Ridiculous. Alright, I'm disgusted with Konami at the moment. Alright, you talk about Nebula Dragon.
Okay. Let me scroll up to the card. Alright. You can reveal this card and one other level 8 dragon monster in your hand. And you can special summon both in defense position, but their effects are negated. Keep in mind, this card locks you out of normal summoning or special summoning monsters for the rest of the turn, except light or dark dragon monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one level 4 light or dark dragon monster from your graveyard to add to your hand. You can only use each effect of Nebula Dragon once per turn.
So you can see how Nebula Dragon is designed to work with Seyfert, because they can kind of like... Seyfert searches Nebula Dragon, and the Nebula Dragon can banish itself to get Seyfert back to your hand, and Seyfert can banish itself to get Nebula Dragon back to your hand. So it's... These cards are like yin and yang. They work really, really well together. Seyfert is 100% going to be used in Blue Eyes, and Nebula Dragon will also be used in Blue Eyes. You can play... like, you don't play Blue Eyes Dimension, and you play a pure Blue Eyes deck that focuses on Xyz summoning. You give up the ability to normal summon Blue Eyes without tributing, and instead you just use Nebula Dragon to get Blue Eyes out along with Nebula Dragon and immediately make a rank 8. That's really strong. Nebula Dragon is a very good card to use in a deck that you're playing Trade-In in. The main benefit of Nebula Dragon is that for cards like Blue Eyes White Dragon and Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, it overcomes their inherent brickiness. The card just takes another level 8 from your hand and special summons it, even if you don't have the ability to special summon it with its own effect. That is extremely good, and I mean, I can't stress like how good this card is. This card is going to be seen play in basically every dragon deck going forward, as if it's light or dark. All right, Magi is talking about Arsenal Falcon in chat, but he told me to ignore it, so that's fine.
I'm trying to check what skills Blue Eyes would use in place of Blue Eyes Dimension.
They can play because they're you might not know, but they've leaked Ultimate Fusion.
Oh, let me go check that out.
So since they leaked Ultimate Fusion, we could play Ultimate Dragons again.
Oh, okay. That might actually be the move.
Yeah. And then as far as Seyfert being like a normal, because we're getting Galactic Spiral, Seyfert can be level 8, so like we'll get to Galactic Spiral, but I mean, these cards are cards that are necessary for Dragon Link to function. So this is the second step to getting Dragon Link in the game. For the first step was adding Rockets, which are all the darks. Second step is adding Starliege and Nebula, which are the lights. At this point, really, what we're missing is the
Striker Dragon,
the Link monster for we don't need Striker Dragon because we have the skill. The Link monster for Dragoonity, and then the level 4 lights and dark, the one that got banned in Master Duel recently.
Chaos Ruler.
Oh, Wyvern Buster and no, yeah, they banned Chaos Ruler, but they also banned Wyvern Buster for some reason.
Oh,
hold on. What is it called? Black Dragon Collapse Serpent and White Dragon Wyvern Buster. Yeah, those 2 cards. That's basically like all we need for Dragon Link to be good. Parsec the Interstellar Dragon has been in play in the game for a long time, surprisingly. I enjoy that fact. Yeah, a lot of Mizar's cards. Mizar's cards were released in the Constellar box, and I had them all at like 3 before, but now I have a ton of them because I just dug through the entire box for Constellars. The 3rd copy of Pollux was literally the last card in the box. I love you, Konami. Thank you. Alright. Next up is Galaxy Satellite Dragon. This is Mizar's card. This is not going to be for Kite, so I'll talk about this one. This is a Dark Link 2 with 2,000 attack points, which is insane. It's really funny how like Galaxy Eyes' effect to tribute monsters that have 2,000 attack points necessitates that all their Link monsters have absurd stats. Because 2,000 is really high. We have another Link 2 in the box that has 800 attack points. So, it's really funny. Alright, this requires 2 dragons. During the battle phase, as a quick effect, you can banish this card from your field or your graveyard. Then target one number exceeds monster you control whose original attribute and type are Light Dragon. Until the end of the battle phase, its attack becomes equal to the value of the number in its name times 100. Also, any battle damage your opponent takes is halved. During your opponent's end phase, you can choose one card from your deck and place it on top of your deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. So, it fixes your deck, which is really funny. But then it also, you can banish this card either from your field or your graveyard, and your number 107, its attack points become 10,700. Which is just funny to me. Because Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon is literally the highest number in the game besides Dawn Thousand's numbers. So it's like the number supremacy, which is just so flavorful. Technically, this is number 62 support. number 62 support. We just make number 62 and it has 6,200 attack points.
But then the problem comes in, you need to get 2 dragons in the first place. Like, yeah, we can use the Seyfert, but right now we're missing like Afterglow to really make Prime pop off.
I know, we'll get Afterglow eventually. Afterglow Kite's level 45 trust. Alright.
I think it would be fine at 1 copy.
As long as you can search it. There's no way they don't give us like an Afterglow Prime Photon skill. They're 100% going to do that. Alright. Let's see. Snowman Effect, Eternal Bond, Radiescent, Heliosphere, and Photon Charge. Real quick, I'll just cover these cards real quick because I already covered them in the review. Change lets you tribute a Photon monster to special summon Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from your deck. That's cute. It's a continuous trap, so it's not good. Heliosphere is a level 4. Once per turn, if you control level 8, you can make this card level 8. That's I don't know that this card will be like this card will see room in the deck. This card would definitely see room in Mizar's deck if you had 40 cards, but since we only have 20, you could probably skip it. Radiant Vorescence. When this card is normal summon while your opponent controls a monster, you can discard a card to mill 2 of them from your deck, which is funny, because then you can also make it dark. So you can put like you discard a card and then you put 1 light and 1 dark dragon in your graveyard. Literally like 1 card Levianeer, and they won't let us play Levianeer with the skill. I mean, if you want to play Levianeer, this card's great. And if you don't want to play Levianeer, don't play it. And then, Snowman Effect says, target 1 face-up monster you control. It gains attack equal to the combined attack of other monsters you... Oh, it's original attack. Oh, I was like, oh, you can use this... there was a comment on my video from my mod, Hydrochronos, where he's like, oh, you can you can use Galaxy Satellite Dragon and then just give Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon's attack to someone else. And then it doesn't have the restriction, but it's original attack, not current attack. So that's lame. Okay. Alright, we move on to the leaked cards. So, Mizar's ultra rare drop, Galaxy Stealth Dragon. Rank 4 that requires 2 level 4 dragons. 2,000 attack, 1,600 defense. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, special summon 1 dragon monster from your hand. Your opponent cannot target other Galaxy cards you control with card effects. Also, those cards cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So, this card can be used to make Soul Drain Dragon, which is really funny. Soul Drain Dragon is like a really obscure card, but it's so obscure that DLM won't search it for me. There it goes. 4,000 attack points. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned by a dragon type exceeds monster's effect. And cannot be special summoned in other ways. When special summoned, if your life points are lower than your opponent's, this card gains attack equal to your current life point deficit. And if it does, your opponent takes no further damage this turn. This card cannot attack your opponent directly. So if you have 6,000, if your opponent has 6,000 life points, you have 4,000. You special summon this card, it has 6,000 attack points. But it can't attack your opponent directly, and your opponent takes no damage. So that's cute, but we can't play, like, the skill stops us from playing level 8 dragon that's dark unless it has 2,000 or 2,500 attack points. So if you're going to play with the skill, you can't make it. But if you play, like, the Buried and Battlemorph skill, you can definitely do it. Preventing your galaxy cards, not galaxy monsters, from being targeted or destroyed is really, really strong. But the problem is, Galaxy Photon doesn't really play level 4 dragons. So this is like only for Mizar, really.
And even then, we have Photon Blast Dragon right in the box as a R. Like, yeah, it doesn't summon dragons, but like, still, if you wanted to play it in Galaxy Photon, there's the option.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of overlap between those two cards. All right. Then we have Galactic Spiral Dragon. This card is insane. I cannot believe this card's free. While this card is in your hand or graveyard, what?
I said, oh, for sure.
Yep.
I did not expect this card.
It's 1:30 a.m., so I'll take my leave and sleep. Goodbye, Magi. Welcome to the sub channel. If you link your Discord with Twitch, then you'll be able to access the emotes in my Discord as well. All right. While this card is in your hand or graveyard, if you control 2 or more light and dark dragon monsters, you can special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. During your main phase, you can make all monsters you currently control become level 8. So, we need Foolish Burial. We need Foolish Burial in the game. Like, at this point, they've given us so many skills. Just give us Foolish Burial. And if we had Foolish Burial, we played Galactic Spiral Dragon, it's going to be amazing. But special summoning it from the hand is fine. But being able to special summon it from the graveyard is so good. So if you have 2 dragons out, like one of them's Starliege, one of them's, Radiant, and then you special summon this card, you make them both level 8s, and then you just go into, you could just literally go into Neo Galaxy Eyes. You have 2 level 4s, you special summon Galactic, and you just make Neo Galaxy Eyes. And yeah, it doesn't negate any cards, but you just detach one material, steal all their overlay units, and crash in for like 6 times. There you go.
Fair.
So, do you play this in Galaxy Eyes?
I don't play in Galaxy because it's not a Galaxy Eyes. I need to specify this. Galactic and Galaxy are not the same. Because if it was, you'll be able to search Galactic Charity.
Yeah.
We can, it's part of the archetype. We cannot search Galactic Charity, unfortunately.
Yeah, but the bigger problem is just that you don't play that many dragons.
True.
Yeah.
So yeah, we wouldn't run this.
Yeah. I don't think this is going to see playing Galaxy Eyes, but it's going to be really funny in Mizar. Alright, then we have Neo Galaxy Eyes. We already talked about that. Alright, bro. Pop off. I'm going to take a drink.
Everyone knows this card. Tachyon Transmigration. The strongest counter trap in the game. If you control a Galaxy Eyes monster, remember, any Galaxy Eyes monster, you can negate the activations of your opponent's spells, traps, spell or trap cards, or monster effect activated before this card in the chain. If you do, shuffle those negated cards on the field into the deck. If you control a Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon monster, you can activate this card from your hand instead. It is not a hyperbole to say this card is in fact the strongest counter trap in the game. Like the only reason why we don't run this in the TCG is because it's unsearchable. But in a 20 card deck, that becomes a non-factor. It all really depends on how many copies of this card we get. I don't expect them to give us free copies, but if we do, this is going to be the most busted card in the game.
You good? Can I go?
You go ahead.
All right. So, main thing that we need to talk about with Tachyon Transmigration is the lack of, you can only activate one Tachyon Transmigration per turn. It's not there. You can play as many Tachyons as you want. Now, Tachyon Transmigration negates monster effects, but it negates the activation of spell and trap cards in the chain. So, it's important to know, if your opponent has a continuous spell or a field spell or a continuous trap card on the field and its effect activates, for example, like, let's say your opponent activates the effect of Ancient Warrior Sunmo and they send the Ancient Warrior Saga to the graveyard. Then Saga's effect activates to special summon a monster from the hand. You activate Transmigration. Even though both those effects are in the chain, you only negate Sunmo's effect because you can negate monster effects, but you can only negate spell and trap cards, not spell and trap effects. So that's important. You can negate a card like Compulsory Evacuation Device or Crackdown or Ice Dragon's Prison, but a card like Warrock Mountain protecting, like special summoning a monster from your hand, not going to work. Nebula Dragon still sees play in the TCG Pog card. Yes, it is. Okay, so even if we have this card at 1, it's still going to be really good. And there are skills that Mizar has. I think Mizar has 2 skills that can search this card. It's going to see play in Galaxy Eyes whether it's at 1 or 3. Like, Gold is coping here. This card is really, really good. So, yes, it doesn't see play in the TCG because you have a 40-card deck. But if you have 1 copy of Transmigration, you're just gonna run trade-in. You're just gonna run trade-in and then draw it. Like, play 3 trade-ins, because we know we have 3 trade-ins. Discard every card in your deck to get this Transmigration. Because if you have 1 copy of Transmigration, you put it down, your opponent's dead. Counter traps are so powerful. You can't respond to them in any way. They can't be negated except by other counter traps or by like Jinzo, right? Like, and being able to negate multiple cards. Basically, what you have to do with this card, you force your opponent to play multiple cards. Like, let's say they are playing Speedroids, and you attack into Crystal Wing. Crystal Wing's effect activates to negate your monster effect, to absorb all your attack points. And then you activate your monster effect to target Crystal Wing. And then your opponent activates Clearwing Synchro Dragon's effect to negate the targeting of a level 5 or higher monster. You flip Transmigration, or you activate it from hand, and then your opponent, both of their monster effects are negated, and they're shuffled back into the extra deck so that they can't be used in the graveyard. Like, that's huge. Transmigration solves a problem that a lot of other cards run into, because a lot of cards that are played in the TCG specifically because they can't be destroyed. Like, for example, Draco Utopic Future, right? Draco Utopic Future has a negate, but the reason why it sees so much play is because if it is negated and by a card that would negate and destroy it, like Baron de Fleur, it's not destroyed. So you can have the effectiveness of your opponent's negates if you can prevent your card from being destroyed as well. But Transmigration doesn't destroy them. It shuffles them into the deck. So they're being taken off the field. They're not being put in the graveyard where you can access them as resources. And they also get around cards being resistant to destruction. So Gold is correct. Transmigration is the best counter trap in the entire game, without a doubt. Galaxy Eyes is 100% going to play this.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, then we have Tachyon Chaos Hole. This is a Galaxy card, so I will let Gold talk.
All right. Let me go to the card. When a face-up Galaxy Exceed monster you control is destroyed by battle with an opponent's attacking monster, or if it's destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can destroy as many face-up cards as your opponent controls as possible. If you do, banish them. During your draw phase, if this card is in your graveyard, instead of conducting your normal draw, you can banish this card and then target one Galaxy Exceeds monster in your graveyard to special summon that target. Now, this really comes down to the discussion of where the discussion really comes down to how many copies of Tachyon Transmigration we're getting. If we get like one copy, this card is gonna see play. If we get multiple copies of Tachyon Transmigration, it's gonna be hard to justify this card over Tachyon Transmigration because of how powerful it is. Now, I'm not down on this card. This is a very strong card. Destroying as many face-up cards as your opponent controls is a very strong effect.
Gold literally over here downplaying a quick play red Supernova Dragon. Okay, so first of all, Tachyon Chaos Hole is a reference to the anime, because in the anime there's a lot of discussion about how Chaos number 107 can control time. And so basically Tachyon Chaos Hole is like sucking Tachyon into the future and then like sending all the other monsters away, and then Tachyon just comes back to the past. Like basically the monster is never destroyed and like time freezes by destroying all other cards, and then it comes back next turn. Like that, the flavor of this card is fantastic. I will say that. I'm very glad that Tachyon Chaos Hole does not restrict you to a Tachyon monster. It lets you play it on any Galaxy, and it's not just Galaxy Eyes either. It's Galaxy Exceeds monsters, so you can use this with Galaxy Stealth Dragon, which is great. So, if your card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, destroy as many face-up cards your opponent controls as possible, and then if you do destroy them, banish all of them. So, banishing your opponent's entire field is broken. That's the only reason that Resonators see any play, is because they have access to Red Rain. So Chaos Hole just destroys people. And there are a lot of cards that destroy cards. We see people play cards like, for example, what's a good destroy card right now? I mean, Dark Hole is like the major one, but you wouldn't use Dark Hole. Like, that wouldn't trigger Chaos Hole because they'll activate Dark Hole at the start of their turn when you don't have any cards.
Yeah, by that time it won't really matter because they won't have any monsters.
I mean, it lets you respond to cards like the Galaxy. Gandora blows up the field, doesn't it? Yeah, Gandora would destroy everything. So.
Oh, true.
Oh, but no, then Chaos Hole would be destroyed too. So you couldn't actually.
Oh yeah.
Man, I'm trying to think of I know there are cards that destroy, but I'm just thinking about like Orcus and other stuff like. Why is Megalith on the? All right. Consular's bounce, S-Force bounces. Oh, Machina Citadel. There you go. Your opponent activates Machina Citadel. You banish all their Machina cards. Now Citadel's never coming back again. That's fantastic. Okay. Yeah, I like this card. I like the second effect. The second effect is amazing. Like, yeah, I'll give up one card to get back my 4,500 attack point monster and kill my opponent. So True. I'm thinking this is like a one-of. And again, like, my assumption is that you're going to play trade-in and just draw these cards, and you'll just have them.
Fair.
Okay, let's see. Is that everything? Yes. Okay, so let's talk about the skills then. Alright. Photon Dragon Advent. You can only use the following effects once per turn. You cannot special summon any monsters except Galaxy monsters or Photon monsters with levels. During the duel, you activate the skill. Reveal one Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon or one Galaxy Knight in your hand, and you can only use them once during the duel. From your deck, add 2 cards to your hand. There can only be 1 card with the same name that are Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon or level 8 Warrior-type Galaxy monsters. Then you can send 1 card in your hand to the graveyard. The second effect is send 1 Galaxy card in your hand to the graveyard to set 1 Galaxy Eyes Cloud Dragon on your field from your hand or graveyard. Now, when this skill was originally leaked, there was an indication that we couldn't flip summon the Galaxy Eyes Cloud Dragon that turn. And I thought, why would that even be there? Like, what's the point of it then? That restriction has been removed this update. So it looks like you could just flip so that you set it just so that your opponent has the ability to respond to it. You flip it face up. If they don't respond to it, you get your Galaxy Eyes back. Perfect. Fantastic. All right. Okay, so let's ignore the restrictions for now because we don't know really. Like those restrictions don't make sense, and the English is pretty bad. So let's just talk about the effects then. Go ahead, Cole.
Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon or one Galaxy Knife in your hand. And I don't know how to. This next part might be a bit of gibberish, so I'm just going to skip over to the next. From your deck, add 2 cards to your hand that are either Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, there can only be 1 card with the same name, or a level 8 Warrior type Galaxy monster. Then you can send 1 card in your hand to the graveyard. I believe this last effect is optional. But if it's not, it's also fine. Because
it appears to be optional.
Hopefully. But if it's not, that's also fine because that can also set up for Galaxy Knight. And then the second effect, of course, is send 1 Galaxy card from your hand to the graveyard to use this effect. Set 1 Galaxy Eyes Cloud Dragon on your field from your hand or graveyard. Now I like this skill because it can set up you for rank 8 plays. Like it basically gives you a free Galaxy Knight, or like if you draw Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, it search out Galaxy Brave and special summon that.
All right, so let's talk about these cards so that our audience knows what's going on. So, first of all, we have Galaxy Knight. If you control a Photon monster or a Galaxy monster, you can normal summon this card without tributing. If it is summoned in this way, target 1 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon in your graveyard. This card loses 1,000 attack points, and then special summon that target in defense position. So this is a 1 card rank 8. Very good, but you need to have Galaxy Eyes in your graveyard, and you need to have another monster on your field. Galaxy Brave. If this card is in your hand, you can reveal 1 Photon monster in your hand, special summon this card, and if you do, its level becomes the level of that Photon monster. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target 1 Galaxy monster in your graveyard. This card's attack and defense become equal to that monster's attack and defense. You can only use each effect of Galaxy Brave once per turn. So, here's my thought process, right? The main problem with the skill as written is by discarding Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon to set up Galaxy Knight, you are not going to have a Photon monster in your hand unless you are playing like the level 4s. And then when you special summon Galaxy Brave, it's only going to be level 4. Now, we want Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon in the graveyard so that Galaxy Brave can have 3,000 attack points. But we also want Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon in our hand because we want to reveal it as the Photon card so that we don't have to run more Photon cards, and so that Galaxy Brave can be level 8. So, here's my thought process. The ability to send a card from your hand to the graveyard is optional because they are intending for you to play trade-in. If you play trade-in, that solves the problem. Because now, you draw your 3 cards, you have them all, you choose not to send a card in your hand to the graveyard, you reveal Galaxy Brave, you reveal Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, special summon Galaxy Brave as a level 8, then you activate Trade-In, you draw 2 more cards, Galaxy Knight, Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, 3 level 8s.
Fair enough.
And you get to draw 2 cards. So you already drew 2 cards with the skill, then you draw 2 more cards, you're going to get your Tachyon Chaos Hole, you're going to get your Tachyon Transmigration by like milling your deck and then drawing 2 random cards. It's going to be great. But in order for you to do that, you have to be playing 3 copies of Trade-In. So, it's rough. Now, like we said, we can use Galaxy Soldier. You can't search Galaxy Soldier with the skill, but you can just discard Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon with Galaxy Soldier, and that way you have a Galaxy monster on the field to normal summon with Galaxy Knight. So if you're running 3 copies of Galaxy Soldier and you're running 3 copies of Trade-In, I feel like you have enough discards in your hand in your deck that you can kind of avoid the discard of the skill unless you have to. Like, the discard of the skill is there to make sure that if you brick, you can still play the game, kind of. But you avoid the discard for the most part and just use your cards to discard instead. I think that's the idea. Now, the second effect is the weirder one, because in theory, as written, you could just discard the Galaxy Eyes Cloud Dragon for cost. Because you have it in your hand, so you obviously can activate the skill, and then you just discard that card, and then you just set it from the graveyard, because you can set it from your hand or your graveyard. I assume it's going to be coded specifically, so you have to have another Galaxy card. Dion notes, hey, how are you? We are doing great. This is Goldmine. He is a friend of the channel, and we are talking about Galaxy Eyes.
Hello.
Go ahead, Cole. Sorry to cut you off.
I'm thinking, is it worth running? Like, we already have all we need. I don't feel like we need to run Cloud Dragon. Like, yeah, it could be a good prob, but it doesn't search from the deck. You would have to draw Cloud Dragon.
So yes, well, no, you can search it with Galaxy Knight, or sorry, Galaxy Soldier. I mean,
But yeah, but at that point, you could just search like Galaxy Knight, and then revive your Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. I'll have to think about it more. But right now, Cloud Dragon's in a weird position for me.
I feel like you could put it as a one-of, just to use with the skill.
Maybe.
I mean, that way, like if you just happen to open it, or you just happen to draw it, then you have it as like a free normal, basically.
Fair.
Because I mean, you do need recovery. I just got through streaming. I used my gems on the other box. Which other box? All right.
But yeah.
This is a good skill. 100%. This is a good skill. We're gonna have to see what the restrictions are.
Oh, for sure. We're gonna have to see what the skill looks like after it's fully released. But as of right now, I like the skill.
They really don't want us to play Ice Dragon's Prison in anything. With all these, like, you can't special summon restrictions.
They know how powerful that card is. They can't let anime decks get a hold of it.
But I want it, though. I paid money for it.
I did also. Well, technically not money, but I spent gems on it.
On the new box on Duel Links? Okay.
No, I spent it on the.
No, I'm reading chat. Okay. Let's see. Okay. The next thing is we got a couple more skills to go over, but real quick, since we were talking about boxes, a pickup box for Galaxy Eyes has been announced.
I've seen that.
It's coming out on the 26th. We don't have many details about it yet, but Neo Galaxy Eyes and Photon Thrasher are going to be in the box.
Dragoonian as well, because Mizar used that card.
Mizar didn't use it.
Well, technically, he was the owner of the Dual Spirit itself.
I mean, he was the owner of the Dual Spirit, but he was already a Barian, so it sided with Kite.
Fair.
All right. Okay. I mean, you can play it in either one of them, but I already have all those cards. I only have one Thrasher somehow, so I have
4.
So I might go into the box for more Thrashers, but I don't know yet.
I don't think we'll need like you could probably stick with 2. Like I have 4, and I usually stick around like 2 to 1.
I don't remember how many Vanishers I have. I think I only have one Vanisher.
Okay, that's a card you want to get up though. That's definitely a card you want to get to at least 2.
Yeah, I think I have 2 Orbitals. I don't know if Orbital's going to get reprinted. It makes Photons easier to play. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the other skills. So we're not going to talk about the level 1 skill because it's boring. All right. Tachyon Dragon Domination. If your deck, if you begin the duel with a deck that contains only dragon, light, and dark monsters, and your light monsters that are all level 4 or level 8 with 2,000 or less attack, and your dark monsters are level 8 that have an attack of exactly 2,500 or 2,000, then you can use each of the following effects once per turn and twice each duel. Reveal a level 8 monster in your hand, add one level 4 or level 8 monster. Add one level 4 or level 8 light monster to your hand from your deck, and then set one level 8 monster in your hand onto your field. Return one face-up monster on your field to your hand and add one Tachyon Transmigration from your deck, or one rank-up magic Variance Force from outside your deck to your hand. First of all, the skill is named perfectly. Tachyon Dragon Domination. Love it. He is a dragon master. He is dominating his dragon. Drawing Galactic Spiral Dragon is nuts. Spiral is light, right? Spiral's not light. What light dragon are we drawing? Oh, Nebula's light. Oh, Nebula's light. I thought that was reversed. Oh, we could just draw Nebula? That's gross. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gold.
Oh no, go ahead. We can also draw Seyfert with this.
Yeah, you can draw Seyfert. That's really good. Parsec, I believe, is dark. Let's see. No, Parsec is light. So Parsec is if you control a level 8 monster, you can normal summon this card without attributing. But basically, the reason why we want to play this card is so that we have another target for Nebula, right? So, so we draw this card with Nebula, and then we can potentially like special summon them both. We can also play Radiant is a bit. I don't know if Radiant is going to be in the, or I guess it's not called Radiant. What is it called? Radius.
Yes, Radius.
All right. I don't know if Radius is going to be included. Because it says, if your opponent controls a face-up Exceeds monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, its level becomes 8. That's really good if it triggers, but not every deck is an Exceeds deck, so if it doesn't, if your opponent doesn't have an Exceeds monster, then it's just a level 4 that does nothing, so. But technically you can, like, because you have Galactic Spiral, you can just make this level 8, and you normal summon this and then get something else out, and then you can spawn your Galactic Spiral, so it's not a complete waste. I don't know. I mean, drawing Tachyon Transmigration is already really good. Like, if they had to come up with a really good reason for us to play Mizar's crappy deck, and like adding Tachyon to your hand is really, really a good. And it's Gold! It's twice each duel, and it's from your deck, so that's proof that we have 2 at least.
Oh, I was thinking that too, but I didn't want to say anything. Like, maybe it was referring to rank up Variance Force, but...
Oh, you're right, yeah. Huh. Like, it lets you use one of each.
But I do think your theory of there just being 2 right now could be correct.
That'd be cool. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, getting to set a level 8 for free, like, as part of the skill is kind of crazy. Like, not like other skills let you normal summon a level 8 without tributing, but this one just like puts it on the field for free, and then you get to normal summon again. So it's good. It's a good skill, but I don't know if it's enough to carry the cards because the cards are terrible. Other than Nebula, but is Nebula good enough by itself?
I think they added enough dragon support to at least let the deck carry its own.
Alright, well, we'll see. Alright, moving on. I love this skill. Absolute Ruler of Time. Okay. Can be used when you have a number monster on your field with number 107 in its name with Exceeds materials, and there are at least 4 cards in your hand. Send all Exceeds materials on your field to the graveyard. Return all cards in your hand and your graveyard to your deck, except number monsters on your field with 107 in the name. So I assume that it's it also returns cards on your field to the deck. Afterwards, draw 4 cards. So you just get to reload as long as you have 4 cards. And you also get to shuffle your graveyard into your deck. That's really, really funny.
When does allow you to dodge Ice Dragon
Prison? It does allow you to dodge Ice Dragon's Prison because you don't have any cards in your graveyard. The big question is whether you can make number 107 and still have 4 cards in your hand.
Fair.
And I think it's possible if you play a the card. What is the card called? It's limit 1. Abyss something. What is this card called? Ah, you're so worthless. Where is it? Is it not? Oh, Allure of Darkness. Well, no, Allure is still a +0. Trading is a +0, Allure is a +0. It's going to be hard. There's got to be a way to do this. I want to pull this off, because this is just too funny to, like, reset your entire hand of 4 cards. Okay. Next skill, I rule over every dragon. This is a trap. This is, like, the worst skill of them all. Can be used when the only monsters on your field are 2 dragon-type light monsters. All monsters on your field are set to level 8 until the end of the turn. On a turn you use this skill, you can only special summon rank 8 or rank 9 Dragon Light Exceeds monsters. And if you you have to like only play this skill with dragons, and your monsters in the extra deck are only Dragon Exceeds. So listen, I want you to listen to me very carefully, chat. If you need a skill to allow you to Exceed summon, your deck is bad. Your deck is bad. There are so many other cards in the game that change your levels or let you summon themselves. If you want to make a rank 8, play level 8s. It's not hard. We do it all the time. We've had many rank 8 decks before this skill came out. You don't need it. So do not restrict yourself to only playing dragons, to only playing Dragon Exceeds monsters in your extra deck, to only summoning rank 8 and rank 9 Dragon Light monsters, and to only playing light monsters on your field, and then giving up your skill slot to do something that everyone else has been doing since the game started. It's not worth it. Gold, do you have anything to add there?
No, you just expressed all my thoughts right there.
Alright, moving on. Okay, Tachyon Transmigration. Here we go. Can be used when you have a number monster on your field with 107 in the name that has activated its effect at least 2 times. Set 1 Tachyon Transmigration to your field from outside your deck. This skill can only be used once per duel if you begin the duel with the deck fulfilling the following conditions. Monsters in your deck are only dragons, and monsters in your extra deck are only Dragon-type Exceeds monsters. Now, this effect is actually good. So if you want to restrict your deck to just Tachyons, this is worth it, because it actually gives you something that you can't do otherwise. I don't think this is better than the Tachyon Dragon Domination, but it does let you play more dragons than Tachyon Dragon Domination does. So if you want to like play Tachyon without feeling the restriction of playing only Mizar's specific cards, and you just play any dragon you want, then like Soul Drain, for example, then you can play this skill instead. It is going to be harder to be able to activate your number monsters effect twice, because it means that you had to live a turn. But it's possible. The other problem is, really it's only going to be Chaos number 107 that you can use the skill with, because 107 can only activate its effect during the battle phase. So if you activated the effect twice, then that means that the cards stay on the field 3 turns, because you can't activate your skills during the battle phase, and there's no main phase 2. Anything to add, Gold?
Honestly, no. You basically just described the skill. I don't really have anything else to add to this.
All right. So I do think Dragon Domination is going to be the primary skill, because let me not be too much of a bully to Mizar. You know, Parsec is not good, Radius is not good. Starliege is good. And Nebula is insane. Spiral is good enough. And if you play like Spiral and Starliege and a couple level 4s for Starliege and Nebula and Parsec, you'll be fine. So this skill is probably good enough for the Tachyon specifically deck. And then the Baryon Battle Morph number over 100 skill is fantastic if you would just want to play Galaxy Eyes. This skill is going to be like a skill where, I mean, getting an extra counter trap is insane. Damn, you seen this mini box, man? Insane. That's yes, I have. There's a video on my channel about it. It's great. I think the skill will see play. More play than like Absolute Ruler of Time. I rule over any dragon and face the Great Beast will. But I think that primarily people are going to play Tachyon Dragon Domination. I will not be surprised to see Tachyon Transmigration pop up there. All right, now we get to the most interesting skill, which I'm sure Gold has not seen yet. A Galactic Battle can be used when a Galaxy Eyes monster exists on either field. During your draw phase, instead of conducting your normal draw, send all cards but Galaxy Eyes Exceeds monsters on both fields to the graveyard. After using the skill, your turn ends.
This is a pretty interesting skill.
Right?
Because one,
Good.
I guess it's really just a matter of how you're going to time, how timing it. So, like, if you time it well, you could, like, completely wipe your opponent's board.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be hard for them to build back up. And then you'll still have your other options of, like, going to full armor, Cypher Blade, for example.
No, because your turn ends.
I mean, after your turn comes back around.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because you can't, here's the thing, it's during their draw phase. So you give up a draw, and you can't set any more cards. So you're going into your opponent's turn. Your opponent's going to have no cards left, right? Their cards are all going to be gone. But you're not going to have any traps. And there's not currently a Galaxy Eyes Exceeds monster that has an interrupt, other than Lord, which we don't have. Now, okay, no, to be fair, if they give us Lord, I'm going to 100% use this skill. Because Lord would destroy people.
Sure. For sure.
This is like the most Photon Lord skill I've ever seen. Because Lord can't be destroyed by card effects. It's got 3,000 defense points and negates and destroys a card. Lord is like the card that is the most likely to survive one turn. Is Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, and that's all you need with the skill. So. I'm praying that this is like, because we didn't see this skill leak before, right? I'm praying this is Mizar's rerun skill, and if it's Mizar's rerun skill, I'm hoping that Photon Lord is going to be like part of his rerun.
Maybe.
Because we didn't get it. Like, we're getting this new kite skill, but we didn't get a rank 8 Galaxy Eyes monster to use with it. So I'm really confused.
I think when a rerun comes back around, that's when they're going to bring in, like, number 62 and then hopefully Photon Lord. Because I feel like this first time around, it's just when Mizar is heading to Earth. Like, he's coming to Heartland City. Then the second time around is where things actually become serious.
Well, no, because the rerun events are literally rerun events.
Fair.
Like, the plot is exactly the same.
I'm just coping at this point.
I know. All right. So a Galactic Battle. All right. So answer the question then, Gold. Like, if you had Photon Lord with the context of you ending the turn on Photon Lord, do you think this skill could see play?
Absolutely. Just wiping the field alone and then having a defensive monster like Photon Lord, this will make this skill so incredible.
Yep. And Photon Lord can even attach materials during your opponent's turn, so it can refresh its negate if it has to. So the fact that you can't set another card, you can't like refresh your traps. You still like you just get Photon Lord to get another card, and then you just negate and destroy. And it's man, this could be it. Like if they give us Photon Lord and Galaxy Eyes Afterglow Dragon and number 62 and this skill, man, Galaxy Eyes could be tiered.
Fair.
So
we'll just have to really wait and see. But I'm really liking the support so far.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got one last Mizar skill to talk about, and it's like the best skill I've ever seen. Neo Peak Performance can be used after your second turn before your normal draw. If you have no field spell card on your field, place a mountain face up on both fields. Once per duel. So both players get a mountain. All dragons gain 400 attack and defense points. Because mountain stacks with itself.
I know that. You want to know what's funny? I think this is Konami's attempt of just trying to teabag up DM Kaiba, bro. Like, I know it's only after your second turn, but like Kaiba's only good part was his mountain skill. So I find it hilarious that Masashi just plays a mountain on both sides of the field.
Well, to be fair, they did give Kaiba Blue Eyes Dimension finally. So DM Kaiba finally got something after DSOD Kaiba got everything.
Exactly.
So the primary benefit of Neo Peak Performance, yes, you can get like 400 attack points for your dragons, and that's cute. The primary benefit is that you get to take your opponent's field spells off the field. So like if your opponent has, for example, Orchestrated Babel, you activate a skill. Your opponent can't respond to you activating skills, and your their Orchestrated Babel goes away. So they can't respond. Like normally, if you try and remove Orchestrated Babel, your opponent will respond to that by chaining literally every Orcus card in their graveyard. This skill will just get it off the field. It's fantastic. And in the same way, a Galactic Battle is also like you nuke the field, and it's as a skill, so your opponent does not get to respond to that in any way, and it's during your draw phase. So it's like you don't pass priority to them at all. None of their traps that they set this turn can be used at all because you're just nuking the board during your draw phase before your draw as a skill. So I can't stress that enough. Effects that remove cards from the field as a skill is dumb because it doesn't start a chain. Okay. So the fact that this card can remove field spells from your opponent is good enough. Like it has a niche. It is a very specific and cute niche. It also benefits decks that like to destroy cards. You can play this in Rockets. And by playing this in Rockets, you just normal summon Rocket Tracer, you pop your mountain, and cool. Like, it's not as good for Rockets as Boral Launch, but it's like it's an interrupt for your opponent, so it's still cute. So while this is not a skill that I think we'll see play for Mizar's decks, I think is a skill that like will make Mizar see play with other decks in the future, and that's what the other skills should be for. We're not going to get like, no matter how hard Konami tries, they're not going to give us like 4 skills that we can use for the same deck that will see equal amounts of play. People will just figure out which skill is the best. So the other skills should be like generic, useful skills.
Fair. And then we also got the Archetype skills if you really just want to use Mizar in none of his decks.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess we'll talk about the raid, because why not? Humans are such fragile creatures. At the beginning of your turn, from turn 10 onward, forcefully end the duel. Oh! Giant Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon is coming, boys. It's a raid duel starting on January 26th.
Yeah, this pretty much confirms that it's going to be a raid.
Get hyped. Raid duels are the best.
They allow me to farm, so that's helpful. Like, I could just leave it on overnight.
Then we got 2 skills. Cosmic Scourge Descends. At the beginning of your first turn, play 1 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon to your field from outside your deck. This is probably going to be the at least level 1000 raid skill. So when we go at least level 1000, we are going to play Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon outside the field, and then we have Galactic War, which is 2000 or higher. So like if you do the, I don't know, it's not going to be a turbo duel, but like the teaching duel or the master duel, whatever they're like, there's going to be like a duel, and there's going to be like a more intense duel that has a higher level. That's how raid duels work. So the second effect, 2000 or higher, Galactic War. Cosmic Surge Descends will still activate. So you'll get Cosmic Surge Descends, you'll summon a Galaxy Eyes, but then you also have this effect. Once per turn, you can play 1 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon to your field from outside your deck. If you control a Galaxy Eyes monster, you can triple the attack of all monsters on your field, and you can also triple the attack of all Xyz monsters on your field until the end of the turn. So the first effect is amazing. The problem that we have had with every other raid duel for Xyz has been that we can't make 4 Xyz monsters. Like, you just don't have the ability to summon an Xyz monster when you only have 1 zone left. So the Galaxy War skill, the Galactic War skill lets you basically, like, after you've Xyz summoned 3 times, you get a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon as a last card. And really, the purpose of that is because you don't want when you have God, I'm rambling, but for those of you that don't know how raid duels work, you do not want your Xyz monsters to attack into your opponent's monster, because since they do ×5 or ×3 damage, that means that if you crash into an opponent's monster instead of into their life points, it's essentially like your opponent's monster has triple or 5 times the attack points for reducing damage, right? If I attack into a monster that has 1,000 attack points with a 3,000 attack point monster, and I have triple damage, then that damage goes from 9,000 to 6,000. So it's like the monster that had 1,000 attack points had 3,000 attack points. So we want Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon to basically kill the one monster that Mizar is going to summon, so that our Xyz monsters with their ×9 attack points can attack directly instead. Yeah, I don't know why I even bothered, but if you want to play raid duels, there you go. Get hyped, summon 3 Galaxy Eyes Xyz monsters, then play Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon with the skill, ×9 all their attack points, and go for lethal. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. I am going to 100% this event. I might even do it on stream. I don't know. I haven't done any PvE content on stream, but this might be the one time that I make an exception.
Wait, didn't we do the Rush Duel thing on stream? Like when the world launched, then we do that?
That was YouTube, though.
Fair.
All right, hold on. Let's see. So we got this sick sleeve. Look at this. You see how Mizar's Baryon form like blends into the gold for Neo Galaxy Eyes?
Oh, that is really cool.
Yeah, right. That. And then the mat looks great too. So I might use these sleeves in this mat. They look really good. And then Alita's coming to the gate. Okay. All right, so that's it. We went on for almost 2 hours, as is tradition. But Gold, thank you so much for your time. Everyone, the Galaxy Eyes Guru, he is on the Guild of Gurus Discord server. I will put a link to the Guild of Gurus Discord server in the description if you want to join. He is on the Milky Way. You can reach out to him anytime. I am on the racetrack. And, of course, you can join my Discord as well. So thank you very much for joining me. My name is Seraphi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.